I think luxury is different for everyone, and we could argue that luxury is what you cannot afford. And that is clearly very different for every people, or better said, luxury is what you aspire to. And we have seen differentiated offers in almost every product category. So for sure, the traditional personal luxury goods like watches, jewelry, handbags, and so on. But you could argue that in almost every category, you now have an upgraded and improved version that could potentially represent a small luxury, even in sandwiches, when you look at it.
In the old days, if you'll forgive the expression, perhaps luxury was only available to the upper classes. But should that change now to the moneyed classes?
I think that if we look at the mainstream luxury goods industry, those brands and those products are mostly relevant to people that change and improve their social status. If you've been rich for a long time, you have less of a need. And the reason is that once you improve your social status, you want to find a confirmation that that is indeed the case. You want to, first of all, have reassurance for yourself. And when you buy luxury brands, that gives you reassurance. In a way, you project your ideal self into those products, and you become your ideal self by buying them. Everyone wants to look good on Instagram. So this aspiration to distinction and standing out has become fairly universal, especially if we look at Western markets.
Has COVID, Luca, changed the luxury market?
In a way, I guess it has. On the one hand, in 2020, when the lockdowns were called, people could save on a lot of essentials. They didn't have to buy their train tickets, as they didn't have to commute to work. So we had a broader consumer audience benefiting the luxury goods industry in 2020, with middle class and lower middle class consumers being able to afford enterprise products into the mainstream luxury goods categories. And I think that another category that has benefited from COVID has been jewelry. Jewelry is typically seen as a safe haven and as a bit of a wise purchase. So when things are bad, and for sure they were in 2020, jewelry has enjoyed quite a significantly strong demand tailwind, which has continued in 2021 for that matter.
There are, by one estimate, 2,800 billionaires in the world. Do you think there's more or less resentment about people who are super rich? And I wonder also whether they're also having to perhaps hide more or protect more their luxurious lifestyles.
I think that resentment on the rich depends on two major variables. First, how deeply divided the society is. If it is extremely divided with very high levels of income and wealth inequality, all else being equal, there's probably going to be more resentment. And for sure, if we look at our own societies, we see that income inequality and wealth inequality has continued to increase in the past few decades. The other important criteria is upper mobility. If there's the opportunity for people that have less to work hard and get to have more, then I think resentment is going to be less of a problem. By contrast, our sort of social pyramid is frozen and people have a feeling that they will always be at the bottom of it, then resentment could potentially increase. I think that one of the reasons why you didn't have much of this problem in China is that everyone is getting better, and as a consequence, there's less resentment towards the rich than we have maybe in some of the European markets.
Oh, why should that be?
because macroeconomic growth in China has been very strong. And when GDP grows, there's opportunity, and you can enjoy opportunities at all levels of the social pyramid. The US has been growing at a lower level, and even lower has been Europe, or at least some parts of Europe. When GDP growth is stagnant, opportunities are very rare, and people get to feel that they have no better option to improve their lifestyle and their condition.
It's predicted, Luca, that affluent millennials and Generation Z consumers will make up 70% of sales and 130% of market growth, and just in 3 years' time, 2025. Are brands changing to serve the rich millennials?
I think they are. If we look at the most important secular changes we've observed in the market, there's clearly been a shift towards informality across various product categories, for sure in apparel, but clearly also in footwear, where sneakers have been reigning supreme, and in various accessories. Think about the success of the Rolex watch, which is informal in its essence. So I think that the move to streetwear and the ability that mega brands like Vuitton and Gucci have shown to integrate those new codes and those new styles into their brand DNA is getting them prepared to embrace and satisfy younger consumers.
Luca Solca, many thanks to you for joining us on The Agenda.
Thank you.